All right. Good morning, everybody. Good evening if you're in Europe or the other side of the world. So good to see you again. So good to be here. Little Apollo just getting up here, and we're at a normal time. The sun is out. It's not the middle of the night here. So what a lovely way to kick off the new month. Aries, you get to see my house first, so thank you so much for being patient. I'm going to put down my little helper so we can begin. And I'm still getting settled in. I literally just moved on Monday, and today is Wednesday. So definitely some adjustment, and I appreciate your patience as I get settled in. Let me grab my glasses. I have them in the other room, and then we'll get started. As I'm getting set up, a reminder that this is going to be a monthly forecast where we're going to look at energies and information for Sun, Rising, Moon, Venus, any other aspect of your chart that you happen to know. So I'll leave the schedule up here. I'm going to grab my glasses, and then we'll get going. All right, thank you. Left them in the other room as I was getting ready. All right, so great to see you today, and it was very nice today to actually just get a good night's sleep. I can't tell you the importance of just making sure that you have enough rest, and that's something that has basically been robbed of me for every month since March, basically. So it's really nice to be back into sort of just general energy. I was receiving a lot of messages last night in dreams and just felt really engaged, really awake, and very present for today's reading. So not that I haven't been, but it's been a push energetically. I had to find strength where I didn't know I had it to get through that. So anyway, yeah, natural lighting, Apollo's digging it. I haven't yet even decorated and got everything sort of set up yet, but so you might hear a little bit of reverb as I'm doing that, but that's part of the fun of moving. It's like a fresh start. And I got rid of a lot of old stuff. That's something I think that's important whether or not you're moving or not. A lot of times old things hold energy. So I'm starting fresh, and thanks for being a part of this journey. All right, let's get started for today's messages. First of all, please subscribe if you haven't. I did an impromptu yesterday, so opting into the bell icon notifications, really key for that. From time to time, if I feel like I want to do a reading, now I can do it because there's no construction sounds, so definitely become a subscriber and opt into notifications if you'd like to be a part of that. Also, if you'd like to get some information on upcoming news and events, follow me on social media. It's typically my name across all social media platforms, with Twitter being the exception. Remember, of course, that I'm never going to reach out through direct messages. I don't offer private readings. So anyone claiming to be me or to do any of that stuff, that's not me. If you'd like to show some love and support in real time, you can do that through SuperStickers, SuperChat, and of course memberships as well. I have not put the schedule up on the website just yet. That'll happen over the next couple of days because I needed to make sure that connections were working. And in fact, I still have someone coming in to connect it a little closer because I'm running a cord across the apartment. All right, let's get into your channel messages. Again, I always like to begin with channeled messages, then we'll get into pulling out the Celtic Cross. Channeled messages come when I am partially when I'm sleeping, sometimes when I'm meditating, and a lot of times when I'm doing research for all of these things and kind of combining it into a cohesive message for you. So let me pull up the presentation and we'll get started. I actually was shown cards in dreams last night, which is one of the many ways that guides will work with me. And I was shown two cards in particular, and there were some other ones, but these were the two that I wanted to focus on for today. All right, so let me pull up the picture-in-picture so you can see this. So here's what I was being shown. First of all, the triple helix for DNA, the strength card, and it had some modifications to it, and we'll talk about that. The sun card dealing with solar plexus strength, and also more like reinventing yourself or reimagining yourself as something new. And then getting caught in a verbal snare. And so we'll be talking today about how to avoid that trap. Okay. So I really love, and I think I'm going to use the Light Seers deck because a lot of the images seem to kind of plug into what I was seeing in my dreams. So plus I don't have all of my decks moved from the boxes over here, so I'll probably just work with that one. So the helix, it can actually be literally DNA strands, or it could be a stairwell, because I saw it as both. It was sort of like this shifting between two images. So as I was shown this combination DNA thread and then also a spiral stairwell, to me it shows me that there could be some threads coming in our lives right now from ancestral, past lives. Could be from the present, from your current family or friends circle. It could also be something more pervasive in the sort of community that you live in. It could be some sort of environmental energy as well. But these are limits not of ourselves, not of our current energy. It is environmental and potentially sort of ancestral. So there's a chance to shift things around. So in this moment in time, instead of thinking I can't, shift it to why can't I? And eventually just I am and I will do this. It's not like even I can. I can, I am, I will. Vini Vini Vici. It's a kind of a different version of that. I came, I saw, I conquered. But I can, I will, I am is maybe the way that I would put that mantra. Change the narrative, change your perspective, and then you change the timeline in which things start to happen for you. And I know it sounds simple, but it's actually, it's simple, but it's profound. So give it a shot and see what will happen for you. And again, even like for me, when I was looking for a new place, there came a moment where it wasn't a matter of I need it. It was like, this has to happen because there was so much construction, negativity, acrimonious sort of energy where I was. I thought there's no choice but to move forward and to move. And the moment I had that sort of epiphany, that's when doors started to open up. It wasn't like I can't or it's not happening. It's just like one way, shape, or form, I'm going to find a place, and I want it to be the best available for my energy and my budget and all of that. So you have to sort of think in terms of power and present, and that will help you out through any of these potential blocks. And the helix, it can seem a little bit tricky because it's a stairwell, right? But one step at a time. So we look to our trusty Fool card, which reminds us that it's a journey, and you have to begin somewhere. I could have featured death on this too, because that's the other side of this, which is saying, let me help you through stagnation. Let me open the door for you. Death, judgment, world, and the Fool, all cards of choice for the most part. What am I going to do next? Not the Tower so much. These are all cards where I'm like choosing to move forward. Temperance could be you sort of considering it and getting ready, but all of them are showing steps and movement. Temperance is the movement of energy from one thing to another. So focus on this moment, focus on what you can do. All you need to do today, particularly for those that are feeling stagnation, is to begin. You don't have to finish today, you just have to get started. And that's going to open up this feeling that anything is possible, okay? Ascension, of course, would be a part of this too. The stairwell going to the sky, going to heaven. So it's a time of spiritual potential, a chance to unlock it for you. So lean into areas where you see that there's going to be growth or expression or anything that just kind of like opens up the heart space, right? And allow yourself to imagine a future version of yourself without limits. Reinvent what's possible. We see the woman in this figure closing her eyes and embracing this new, freer version of herself, right? And again, I've had a really tough year myself too, moving through the loss of a parent, moving through wrapping up all of that stuff, moving and doing this all sort of on my own. But part of what I would do in that is that judgment card. Just imagine what it would be like to get to the next step of the journey. And there was a moment the other day when I was moving where in the car I was like almost teary. I was like, finally, this is happening. This has been so difficult. So trust me, I go through the same things, but what I've been working on is the mantras that part of my training is in Kundalini Yoga teacher training level 1. So I could actually teach it if I wanted to, but I like doing what I'm doing here. One thing that I learned from that though was the power of repeating something in your head. And we don't have to just use like a Sanskrit prayer in our head. We can use any positive energy and you just start to put it in there like a tape recorder. Like I said earlier, I can, I will, I am. And make it present tense, make it powerful, and imagine that you are going to accomplish or reach that next step in this helix that I was shown, okay? So you can, you will, and you already are, and it's a matter of judging and knowing that and accepting that. Judgment is like, it's happening, so now what? It's really looking to you to make a decision of what you want to do next, okay? It's a time for healing. I saw the Strength card in my dreams. My guide showed me a deck where the card had been folded, and if you read tarot, you understand that you don't want to recognize the cards from the back because then you're going to have your own bias come through. So a lot of times when they get damaged, you have to replace the deck. But in this particular exercise, energetically, it was almost as if like you would take an iron, but you were just using your hand to heal out the sort of crease in the card. So at first glance, you wouldn't see it. If you looked really close, maybe if you turned it over, you could see some of the creases in the card. But it was showing that there is healing that's possible, that you don't need to toss away the past or these lessons or this. It kind of makes you stronger. It's about reclaiming yourself. And any of you that have had a cut or surgery, you know that the scar fades. It may never completely go away, but one day you may even look at that and think, I got through this, right? That didn't get me, and I'm stronger because of that. An ex or an old relationship where it didn't go the way you wanted, a lot of times there's this feeling or understanding, well, at least I know I don't want to go through that again. And I know what I'm capable of, and I know that I have more strength than I imagined. So what if the scars are actually defining features, showing that you have the capacity to move beyond, to reach above, to just really sort of persevere? And that's what Spirit was showing me, okay? But there is a chance to smooth over some wrinkles, to look at the past and make sure that you haven't swept anything under the rug and just say, yeah, this is all part of me. This is part of the big version of myself, and I wouldn't take away any piece of it. I'm just gonna work on healing a couple of things here and there, okay? So some healing. Definitely it can be maternal healing because this card can be connected to mother-type figures in our life. So if there's anything there where there are words left unsaid or some wishes or some things that you need to kind of express, then this is the time to get it out there. It goes hand in hand with the solar plexus card because this can be a card where someone tries to take your power or assert their power over you. And this card is saying, I don't think so. And the Sun card usually has a little baby boy on a horse riding out into the world. I like this one too because we see another woman connecting to source energy. And I also see this card as a strong self-confidence, the solar plexus shining outward saying, you're strong, but so am I, and my strength doesn't take away from yours, and we don't have to have one person winning or losing. It's an old paradigm. So when someone tries, and we'll talk about this later, when they're trying to bait you or get you into a sort of verbal trap, you can just simply say, that's not how I view it. That's your truth. That's your lens. Thanks for your lens. I have a friend that taught me that phrase, and I appreciate that. It's like, I appreciate your perspective. That's not one that I share, but that doesn't negate your version or vision or mine. It's just different ways of looking at the same situation. They'll just get fatigued if you kind of go down that path and walk away for the most part. So let your inner child have some fun this month. Rebirth and Renaissance is what I really wanted to focus on when I saw the solar plexus or the Sun card. And once you step through the imagining that we talked about, letting go of the boundaries in the Judgment card, and you start to see the fruits of your labor, the Sun card is when you just feel like, wow, this is possible. You are like Neo in the Matrix, seeing through the sort of ancestral code and blocks that we have around us. And finally, and most importantly, and then we'll get into the tarot reading, there is a chance to walk away from something. And walking away is not a sign of weakness, particularly if someone is trying to create havoc in your life. It's about knowing yourself good enough, knowing what this is going to entail, knowing that when you say words, they can't be unsaid. So if somebody is just sort of poking and prodding and giving you a difficult time, this is really saying, hey, it's not worth it. I've been there. I've done that. I know where this leads, and I choose a different outcome. You're choosing your own adventure, your own ending, not someone else's desire to kind of get you in this mix. Some of you may have already learned this lesson. Some of you, this is just a time of healing. This Ten of Swords is super empowered. It's saying, I'm done. The Ten of Swords can be a freeing card. If you look at the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith illustration, there's always a new dawn, even in the midst of the darkness or the challenges or the fear. I'll see if I can find the card while we're talking. But this card, what's really cool about it is they fast forwarded to the new day. And the birds ahead represent some of the old echoes in your head of what might be going on. But as we look closely here, This is your traditional Rider-Waite-Smith card. We can see even in the background there's that narrow band of light. And in this card we're focusing just on the light. So sometimes you have to go through that dark night of the soul, but this is the day that awaits you, and some of you can avoid going through some of that challenge, and that's my hope here. So knowing when to defend yourself or speak up, and knowing when it's just not worth it. It's going to be key. There are 3 sibling cards here. I like to refer to some of the minor arcana as siblings. I would say 5 of Swords, 7 of Swords, and 10 of Swords. It would be like triplets if we were to see them in the family of tarot. The 5 of Swords, of course, a no-win situation, someone that won't listen or take accountability. 7 of Swords, someone who lies or tries to get away with things or is not accountable. And then the 10 of Swords, the pain that these things bring in our lives. So learning the lessons from the 5 and 7 will help you avoid the 10, because accountability, honesty, and also just transparency are going to help you go through that. The birds will fly away because they're like, that energy is not something that I want to work with, because you're showing up with that solar energy that we saw here, which is a lot more inviting and a lot more empowering. Okay? So really profound messages coming through for you today, and really enlightening messages as well. All right, so we are going to get started. I'm selecting the deck today because I was feeling very connected to the light seers, so we're going to do that for now. Plus, I need to move all of my all of my cards and things over here. So thank you as I'm getting set up. Okay, so let's go ahead now and take a look at what's going on. Let's zoom in a little bit and get started, everybody. I hope you're doing well. So glad you could join me. I know it's going to take people a while to get used to the new time, which is really the old time, but as you can see, the lighting is perfect at this time of day. It allows me to eat, get breakfast, walk the dog, so it allows me to be a clearer channel. So I appreciate everybody working with me and moving with the different times that I've been posting. All right, we are now looking at the Celtic Cross. A reminder, you can use it for sun, rising moon, and any aspect of your chart that you need to. Okay. Yeah, Apollo loves the space. One of the nice things here is that, first of all, no construction, and not in a gigantic complex anymore with a bunch of different people, so there's not a lot of other noises. So he's found a peace that I don't think he knew he could find. The interesting thing with tower moments in our life is they typically bring us to, there's our 10 of Swords. They typically bring us, and we also have the 10 of Cups. I was very drawn to this deck for a reason. But they bring us to a better future if we allow ourselves to get through the discomfort of the moment, right? All right, so there we go. Let's zoom out just a little bit more. Still getting everything set up here, so I'll have it all perfected in a few days. All right, let's go ahead and do the expanded forecast here as well. It's been a day or two since I've done this. So whoever's saying it's a tough month, I don't necessarily see that. Don't project. We haven't even gotten into the Celtic Cross. I saw nothing but power. Basically what I was looking at with the with your channeled messages, it was a lot of choices of where you wanted to sort of see yourself. So try to focus on possibilities and not kind of put any sort of narrative. There we go. I wanted to have me talking while I'm doing this. So no, it's not necessarily difficult, but there are opportunities for growth. And I'm seeing really good cards in front of us. So let's let the cards lay it out here. And you're going to be fine. That's why you're showing up. Such a gorgeous card there. Okay, beautiful stuff. Let's get started here. We're going to begin with timing. a Greek word for like perfect timing here. So we have Kairos, I think it is. I'm not sure if I said it correctly. But this is a really cool card that it doesn't matter what position it's in because it's the same print no matter where, so I kind of like this deck. Looking at timelines and timing from a different perspective. This card is posing the rhetorical question, like, when are you going to do this? When's a good time? The answer, of course, being like now. Because timelines, in a lot of situations, are things that we are creating and controlling. So this is saying, see yourself as a creator of your own new timeline. Imagine that things can happen quicker, more effectively, less difficult. Just start to see things moving in a different way. Having a lot of family in spirit, I know that they see things from a different perspective too. Like time, it doesn't matter. Like 1 year and 10 years, it's not so important anymore because there's no body to show aging and there's no it's a construct, right? If you think of a black hole or if you think of traveling at the speed of light, you don't age, but the world around you ages differently because it's just a different construct. So this is saying let go of needing to have something done in a certain time or a certain way. Just start doing it. And kind of like the black hole, or in a more stronger sense, let's imagine the sun. The gravity of the situation bends things around it and bends light and bends timeline. So you have an ability to surprise people when it comes to how quickly something can get done. Or you can convince them that more time is necessary. You control the timeline. The timeline doesn't control you. This is the problem, and this is one of the many reasons, not the top reason. I would say maybe it's in the top 5. Top 5 reasons that I left corporate work. They focus on deadlines and not on if it's the right time or if it's the right version of something to release to the world. They just put it out because they said they were going to put it out. Not because it's done, not because it's good, not because they're ready. And so one thing that we can learn in this moment is only when you feel really good about something should you release it, should you step through that portal. And if you're being rushed or pushed to do something that you're not ready to do, it's not the right time. So that's a piece that you can also take away from that. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the Celtic Cross. At the center, we have the 10 of Cups, which was exactly what I was showing earlier, connecting to the helix energy. And the reason I like this is because I remembered one of my decks had a sort of ribbon of energy around the people. And it can be a lovely sort of energy, as we see here. It can also be one that makes us feel topsy-turvy, which is why this is what's coming through with the 10 of Cups in reverse. So what happens a lot of times is the people that we love the most, sometimes what they can do is project fear or anxiety into our lives. What if you don't get accepted into this college? What if that person doesn't say yes when you ask them to marry you? What if you don't get the job that you're trying to get? What if you can't do this? The what ifs followed by a negative start to put in seeds of doubt and uncertainty. I think it's always good to have contingency and backup plans, so it's always good to prepare for something unexpected, but always try to expect positivity and also prepare for what I would answer them as, well, what if it does? What if I am? What if I can? What if I will? So always counter with the positive, and then at some point, just don't worry about it. But friends and family may be trying to fit you into their mold. What works for them? They see you as this type of person in this type of job with this type of love interest. And you may see yourself in a completely different manner, and that is okay. That's your lens. This is your lens. So let them follow you if they love you. Don't try to change so that they will love you, because that's conditional lensing, and we don't want that. We want unconditional love. All right. Let's take a look at what's going on with the two of these. First of all, this can also mean unexpected love interest or love coming into your life in general. Let me just move this. There we go. I need to adjust the camera settings a little bit later. All right, so we have love, and then we have you manifesting that love, if you're ready, if you're willing, if you're believing that this is possible. So the Magician is a very, very attractive card when I'm looking at love. This is chemistry, this is energy, this is you being authentic, and this is someone who wasn't maybe looking for something right now that just gets attracted to your power, to your energy. So rather than worrying about why am I alone, which can be this Ten of Cups card, which can be projection from family, not from yourself or your higher self for sure. You could think to yourself, I am ready for love in the highest form, and I love who I am with or without someone. And when you start to do something that you love, whether it's a project or an activity, or you just start working on yourself, then you find the chemistry, the magnetic energy that pulls the people and the opportunities that you're seeking into your life. Because these are two powerful magnet cards. The Ten of Cups, definitely magnetic, just like the Lovers, and the Magician on top of that amplifies it. So you have the ability to add to or magnify your existing sort of magnetic energy, but there has to be belief. Magic works if you believe it works. And magic is just a new truth waiting to be uncovered or discovered, a line that I wrote in my book, and I believe that. So we call it magic because we don't understand it, but it just is power, and you have more power than you may imagine. All right, Page of Pentacles, deep past. Opportunity in this moment is to say, in this timeline I'm ready, this is something I'm ready to let go of. You've worked hard on yourself, on something, to achieve something, and the Page of Pentacles is saying, let it go, share it, get some insight. Let's put this out into the world. It has value, it has worth. All you have to do is to believe in it. And it feels like some of you could be holding on. We really want the page to be in a place where their arms are open and outstretched and ready to receive. This page is ready to deliver, and then it needs to open itself up so that new things can come in. So let it go. Release it. It's okay. Birth it. Three of Wands. That which you seek is already underway. Whatever you're trying to manifest, you've already done a really good job of allowing that to happen. And so we have the Three of Wands coming through here saying, just look around, just look in a different direction, and you'll see that it's here, or it's happening. This Three of Wands is great because we see the main character as a surfer, ready to go out there and explore the world. They're both symbolic of the ship coming in and also the person that's manifesting it. They're not even needing some other third party to make it happen. Very entrepreneurial Three of Wands. So some of you may be deciding to start your own business, to publish your own book, to self-distribute your own product or service. Whatever it is about that might apply to you, I like it quite a bit. The other thing with the Three of Wands is it is an awareness to your ability to really tap into things and make it happen in the moment. Not 3 weeks from now, 3 months from now, 3 years from now, but you can start to see some progress here and now. And that connects really nicely with our catalyst, which was saying the timeline can be bent if you believe it can be bent, right? So really, really great so far. That's why I wanted to kind of hit the pause button on someone that said it's difficult. No, there's a couple of things here, the Two of Swords and the Ten of Swords, that came up as challenges, and the Eight of Swords. These have to do with seeing beyond the obvious. Opportunity abounds all around, but it's your lenses and your filters that could be holding you back from seeing it. And that's all we're looking at today, is how to get out of that habit. So speaking of that, we have 3 Swords cards that we're going to look at. And so the Eight of Swords is seeing beyond what's in front of us, knowing that not everything is obvious. The Two of Swords may be an inability to make a decision, and the Ten of Swords is walking away, and we went into great depth on that. So here's where your crowning card is kind of like where your head's at and what's blocking you. Look really close at this nice card here. The true version of the Eight of Swords is this individual. She's fine, right? Nothing's wrong. Things are actually good and right in the world. This is what she sees. All the problems, all the potential issues, all the things that might go awry. There needs to be some sort of a understanding that this is worst case scenario, not best case, not even probably reality. So letting go of the fear and understanding that ambiguity is a part of the creative soup here that allows for things to happen. Life on this planet began in the ocean, near the sort of vents where there was heat and the stuff could get mixed up, all the sort of materials here that could create the DNA strands that we were talking about. So our universe, but more specifically our solar system. Our solar system began as like a big ball of dust. And the heavy enough elements went to the center. The sun was created, and then all of the sort of rings, this sort of accretion disk began. Things at the beginning are messy. They're unknown. There is things that we don't see or understand just yet. That's part of the fun. So just like a sun would create order in that accretion disk of dust, you too can find things, but you have to just roll up your sleeves and start working. I had to really scrub my nails and cut my nails this morning because there was dirt underneath them from all of the moving. And sometimes we have to get our hands dirty, right, to make things happen, to move energy. So I was physically moving things, but you could be moving them in your head, in your heart, or like me, you could be moving things around in your environment. It's okay to get some dirt under your nails and to get in the sort of mix of the dust. That's part of this. And it doesn't always make sense until the dust clears how much you've done and how far you've come. Things will get clearer. This is in the near future position. Two of Swords in the near future is saying, when reversed, is saying, I now understand. A clearer path is in front of me. I can see one of the two brings me to a place where I have balance. When I look at the tattoo of the two swords, it almost reminds me of scales there on her arm. So she's kind of weighing things out, and she's saying, okay, this one really does make more sense. I'm going to go in that direction. You may never have everything perfectly set up for you, but there is going to be a point where you know exactly where you need to go, okay? So, and yeah, someone just pointed out 8 and 2 is 10. Great observation. And look at how, again, beautiful, now we get to see it in the flesh here, this 10 of Swords is. I was, as I was researching this card from this deck, I love the creator of this deck, it was Chris Ann. I guess there was a different version of this 10 of Swords. I got this a little bit later after the initial version, but originally the person had like stitches on their back. Again, I was talking about soul scars, and that one was really interesting. I'm like, oh, there's a different version out there. But what I like about this one is that we're even beyond that. The scars have faded, and this woman is just walking towards a better day. It's interesting that the artist had to redesign it. 10 of Swords is always complicated, even if you're making the card for it. There's always like some drama over it. But I think the key thing here is to take that higher road, to take accountability and to walk away. If you do all of these things, you're going to be fine. Okay? Awesome. Let's go ahead now and take a look at why all of this is coming through. Look at the beautiful Wheel of Fortune. Take a chance. Let's change things up. It's going to be all right. So the Wheel of Fortune is saying there could be new love, a new job, a new relationship, a new place, something new, and it's going to bring with you this sense of value and happiness and self-worth. Look at how she's tugging at the energy the same way I said a star, a black hole, something with a lot of gravity would. It's saying, you follow me, I'm not following you. My change is going to pull things into my life, my trajectory. I don't have to try to align or jump through hoops to make this happen. That was one of the other top 5 things. I had to go through so many hoops when I was in a corporate environment. Just to get a stapler. It would require like 3 approvals. And at a certain point, you're like, can you not trust me to do something that simple? And so we have to sort of look at how much energy we're investing to try to shape the world around us versus being ourselves and allowing things to come to us. So the Wheel of Fortune is saying there's a really big change happening. It doesn't have to just be money or job or living situation. It could just be this sense of, I know what I am, I know what I'm worth, I know what I want to do. And then things start to open up, and they start to open up quickly, and you become the agent of change. We don't even have death in this spread, but that's one of the big things here is creation, rebirth, reinvention. Okay, let's look at the environment. Wow, with 3 exclamation points. How many times for those longtime viewers have I said that these two are co-creators? And actually these 3. This would be the high triplet sort of energy here, because Magician, High Priestess, and 2 of Wands. Wow. Like double underline, triple exclamation point. So what's going on around you? If you can see it, you will do it. If you can see it and do it, then others are going to be attracted to you. Look at these powerful PowerPoints here in this spread. So again, to kind of counter what was going on earlier, the only thing that I see that's tricky is this sort of V shape going on with the swords. There's a lot of potential, and if you unlock the potential, bye-bye, Ten of Swords. It's not happening. Not today, not ever, right? Okay, so let's look really closely at these cards. There's a little bit of work to be done for the first. They stuck together, and I went ahead and let both of them come through. Two of Wands in reverse is impatience with how long or exactly where something might be coming through when you're trying to manifest it. She has the map, she has the globe, she has the vision. She's wistfully looking out the window thinking, when will this happen? And if I could, like, the guides are playing an old sort of Disney song, like One Day My Prince Will Come or whatever, where she's waiting for somebody to save her. No, you are your own prince. You're going to save yourself. You're going to march out there and become a knight card, basically, and make this happen. You're going to close your eyes like the high priestess and say, all right, this is how, this is when, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to open myself up to see things differently. Have you ever noticed when learning something that you notice that that's then out in the world more? It can be, I've talked about vocabulary before. It can also be something that you don't want to see. Maybe it's about, people that need food or housing, people that in your life are in pain, and you started to recognize some of the signs. It's always been there, but now you're seeing both the good and the not so good. The High Priestess is just more aware. So the Two of Wands is the imagining of what's possible. The High Priestess is the awareness that it's there. And she knows what to fix. She knows what to kind of like grab onto and say, yep, this is it. So be aware, be open, and look in places you wouldn't normally look for the opportunities that you've been working so hard to create in your life, because they're here. We have a lot of cards showing now. Let me just go to the desk only. So this card is basically saying, just imagine that time bends around you. This card is showing that things are happening now. These are the magnets. People want you to be something else, but you're going to be what you need to be so that you can attract things. And we also see the spiral shape here like a galaxy. This is you perceiving what you saw, and then also seeing new things and working back and forth. You have to dream it, then you do it. Dream it, do it, and attract what you want to create in your life. Okay? Now we have here, in hopes, fears, and opportunities, the Ten of Swords. Spiritual awakening can mean that you sometimes see things that you don't want to see, but it also means that you see things that can help you avoid pain in your life or help you avoid things that are potentially a trap. So this could be the snare that someone's trying to set. You're going to walk away from it. You're going to walk in a different direction. You're going to acknowledge what they feel, but you're not going to let yourself get pulled or anchored into that. Okay? We already talked a lot about that. That's more in hopes, fears, or opportunities. In this case, fears or things that might happen. So that's the ghost of what may be, not what is. When we look at your outcome, and this is more controlling what you want to do with it as the card flies through the air, we have the very powerful, bossy, and controlled King of Wands. He's reversed, which is an encouragement for all of us watching to keep an open mind. He can also indicate someone who is pushy and who doesn't like when they don't get their way. And so you're going to be strong and remind this person you're like the lion in the background. We're both strong. We don't have to have some sort of a fight, and that's what this could be, is just sort of like fighting to show who's in charge. You can both be in charge, and if someone has to win all the time, that's not really the person you need to be with. It's not about winning versus losing. That's the old paradigm. That's outdated. It's not an effective way to look at this. Okay? All right. By the way, this is a fantastic card for those of you that are deciding, I want to do something on my own, or I want to embark on something unexplored, unknown, like going to school for a new degree. It could also just be a leap of faith into something really, really fun, because we have 10 of Cups at the center. It could be taking that leap into a new relationship, even if you're afraid of what might have happened in the past or what might happen next. Trusting your heart, trusting your soul. We're going to look at all of this now. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. We're going to go ahead and expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny and get some additional lenses. I'm going to take a quick drink here, and then we'll continue. Okay. Let's begin with your health card. I always like to basically disclaim when we're looking at health to remind you that I'm not looking so much at your body, but the energy and the decisions and your power when it comes to shaping your healthy living. So if you need any help when it comes to mental health or physical health, you're going to work with the professional that you need to there. But we're going to look at energy because that is a big component in happy, healthy mind, body, spirit living. So with that disclaimer out of the way, this is one of my favorite insect or animal totems, bar none. I would say it's in, if I were to name like top 3, it would be hummingbird first, butterfly or moth, kind of, I'll just group them together for the second, then dragonfly. Ladybird, like ladybug, would be 4th as well. All of these flying creatures are amazing because they represent different forms of transformation or luck. The dragonfly is interesting because it goes through several stages. It starts in the water or in the kind of mud, and then it comes out and it's in the air. So we actually have like earth, water, air with this particular symbol, and the ability to tap into a lot of the different elements, which is what we would see here with the Magician card. Only thing missing is fire. And so you have to ignite something this month. You've gone nearly all the way, but there's one more step, and that's just breathing fire, breathing life into something. The card itself says, truth transcends illusion. So what we were looking at with the 2 visibility cards, blindfolded, by the way, is saying, I'm afraid of the unknown, but I know I need to go there, and I know it's probably going to be a lot better than what I was afraid of in the past. And so this is saying the illusion or the fear or the lack of everything being laid out doesn't mean that you can't do it. Doesn't mean that it won't happen. It just means that there's some things to work on when it comes to manifesting and focusing on the positive. If there's something that you don't want to look at or see, you still have to look there. We didn't get the moon card, but that's the elephant in the room here as well. So this is saying, look, get information. So whenever moon, 2 of swords or 8 of swords comes up, or the devil, I would say go get some information. Because when you are informed, when you are empowered with that information, the devil has no power on you. The 2 and the 8 and any of the other swords cards that are causing that anxiety, they don't have an effect on you because now you have the facts. So get the facts. Talk to someone. Go to the doctor if you need to. Do some research if you need to. Talk to an expert if you need to. You'll be able to sort your way out of this. And when in doubt, when you have all of that done, maybe just trust yourself. This is self and source. This is self and source. This is also having already kind of downloaded that and just saying, yeah, I'm going to trust this. I'm not going to second guess this. All right. Some other things with health. Again, not a doctor, but the cards show energetic frequencies and areas of focus. Get your eyes or ears checked. Blindfolded cards like this, especially when 2 are here, can show that one of the senses is muted. It could be something minor, it could be something else. Either way, take a look at it. I'm getting to the point in my life where I'm fine if I'm just walking in the world without glasses, but no vanity now when it comes to my watch, my phone, and the computer or the cards, I gotta have glasses on. So maybe you just need a new prescription or you wanna get some contacts, that's fine. I spent half of my life not needing them. Now I need them. It's not a big deal. So it could be something like needing your glasses checked or your prescription there. Also, this is saying if you ignore it, it doesn't go away. So if there's an ache or pain, and this is aches and pains, it can be in the lower back or the back in general, all the way from the neck to the tip of the spine, right around the buttock. Get that checked out. This can also be chronic pain or chronic illness, and you want to get that sorted out as well. The good news is most of the cards around these are pleasant or positive, so don't overthink it. There might be some alternative ways to treat this. You can complement traditional medicine with alternative. There's a lot of things that you can do to make yourself healthier and happier. Spend some time meditating. It doesn't have to be traditional yoga. It doesn't have to be, fingers in lotus position, cross-legged. It can be drawing. It can be listening to music. Whenever I walk with my pup in the background, I come up with ideas. In the morning when I take a shower, I get ideas. When I dream, I get ideas. But just open up space so that you can dream and you can tap into stuff just a little bit more, and that's going to be super important. Let's see if there's anything else. I think that's it. The changes that you make now have an almost immediate effect or impact, so don't hold back and think, oh, this is going to be hard, it's going to take forever, especially if it's a different journey like, let's say, weight loss or Or even if there's, yeah, that's a good example. It's just one step at a time. Just eating better today will give you more energy, right? Little baby steps. Look at the positive. It's not so much about the numbers on the scale. It's more about like, I just feel better. I like putting this into my body because that energy then makes me feel like I'm more connected. I'm better. I can't emphasize just even like a change of space for me. I feel like 10 years younger. Just being out of that, not having to step through all of the negativity anymore. So changing your environment, making time to meditate, just giving yourself some space, it can change who you are 110%, okay? So heal yourself, you deserve it, whatever that is. And I see a more rapid kind of like movement than you could imagine. One last thing, this card can indicate interactions. So if you are on any sort of medication, maybe talk to your doctor about the strength of it. Maybe take a look at what you're eating and seeing if that's interacting. Maybe get a second opinion, because the Two of Wands can be a different point of view on that, and there may be something better, or you may be ready to get off of something, because when you start to make healthier changes in your life, you may not need all the same things that you needed before. Again, I'll disclaim this, you want to talk to the professionals before changing that, but I see that some changes are possible or necessary for some of you. All right, that being said, let's go ahead and move. One last thing, dragonfly. So when we're looking at this, there's also the ability to look at things and move quickly. I would say move in general, move more quickly towards a solution, but get out, get outside, explore a little bit. The dragonfly is a symbol of flight and movement. So as you start to move into different spaces and just move in general, your thoughts will move, your energy will follow. Okay, back to the cards. Let's look at wealth. Very interesting card to come through for wealth. Very interesting. I'm feeling good about you because we have in the deep past, well, here, let me just turn the camera down for a second. All right, so deep past, we have the Page of Pentacles. We have the Creator cards here in the center and in the environment. What we do see here is the Wheel of Fortune coming through for your soul. You are valuable, you are capable, you are moving things forward. Someone sees opportunity in this. Make sure you trust the people whom you work with and any contracts that you might sign with others. This is an opportunistic sort of card, and in the environment, if someone's around you, you want to be mindful of this. For you, here's what's kind of cool about the vulture, because I see beauty in all of the animal kingdom, and what I would say, the vultures and any carrion crow are important because they clean up messes. And we want the sort of birds of prey out there, and the birds that, in the case of the vulture, they're going to clean up things that other things don't want. So one of the best things that you can do for yourself financially, career-wise, and just in your general life is to clean up your messes. And find things where you're like, you know what, I thought that this was a waste or that this isn't good, but you actually find efficiencies. This is worthwhile, or I can make something of this. A vulture would look at something and say, that doesn't look like a meal to you, but I can make this work. So I like the can-do attitude of the vulture. I had to reach out there into the ethers, but there's a part of this that is very much like the Queen of Wands. We got the King of Wands. Both the King and the Queen of Wands are imaginative and inventive. That's what I love about them. They're the cards for those of you out there that happen to be an engineer or a poet or an artist or someone that comes up with things like I just did, pull it out from the ethers and say, oh, this is how it comes together. That's how you're going to become powerful. You're going to take something that someone thought was broken or not useful, and you're going to reclaim it, reforge it, and surprise them. So if you have the capacity or the patience to do so, this is a very thrifty card and a very crafty card, and that could help you out. Be mindful of the actual vultures in your life where they come in and they just swoop in when there's food and when everything's okay, and then they go away when there's nothing. We don't want the fair weather friends anymore. Okay, other messages when we're looking at wealth. It might be time to move on. So 8 of Swords, 2 of Swords, 10 of Swords. Not being seen, not being heard, not wanting that anymore in your life or your energy. Going out there and finding something else. So if you're not happy, it's a good time to manifest. I couldn't pull more manifestation cards if I tried. 3 of Wands, Magician. 2 of Wands, High Priestess. Like literally you got you got jackpot there. If we were in Vegas and this was tarot jackpot, I might put them in different order. I would probably say like 2 of Wands, Magician, High Priestess, 3 of Wands, it's happening. But that would be like lucky 7s across the board, okay? So you've got this if you want to create something new. If you want to change the environment in which you live or work, you can also do that. You're going to have to work a little harder because some people have a hard time seeing things that aren't right in front of them. So this is working hard to kind of make a case, but ultimately you win. You're going to have to go back and forth a few times, and you may have to have a difficult negotiation or conversation. In a sort of situation where you're buying a car, buying a house, or trying to get a raise, this is saying, like, if I don't get this, I'm willing to walk. And then having your backup plan so that you're not, you have to have that already laid out and be willing to call your own bluff, because they may call your bluff. And in that case, you're like, well, that was easy. I know I'm going to move on. But sometimes when you're just about ready to leave the room, the person will say, okay, we don't want to lose you. That's not what this is about. And you can then decide if they were just playing hardball or if this is indicative of a lack of vision. Because if I worked at a place and the only way that I could get a raise or get recognized is by threatening to leave them in the lurch, that's not cool. There should be no need to threaten. A way to elevate this is to say, I've been with you for this amount of time. This can work for both a relationship and a job. I'm just looking for a level of return on that, a commitment from you, and saying, yes, I see you, yes, I value you. Because right now I'm not feeling valued, and that's not a fun place to be in a relationship or a partnership, whether it's love or working. So where do I stand? That's all I need to know right now. This isn't a threat. I don't work that way. I want to know where you're at, and that's, leave it at that, and see what they say. And say, I'm committed to you. Are you committed to me? And if you are, and if the answer is yes, say, great, this is what I need. How are we going to make this possible? Let's put this into writing. That's what I need in this moment in time, more for the work end than a relationship. For a relationship, you just want to sort of see where they're at. Say, I value you. Where do we stand? That's something that a lot of us sometimes dread, but you shouldn't dread it if you're in the right relationship. You shouldn't even have to bring this up if the relationship's going the way that it needs to be going. But if it is, it'll be an easy conversation. If it isn't, it's going to give you what you need to decide, should I stay, should I go? That's a personal decision. But you have an ability to get your way. It's just a longer term sort of thing that I want you to see past, which is you could win this negotiation, but do you want to have to keep going to this energetic length or sort of like how much you're putting into this every single time? Sometimes it's important from a career perspective, for instance, to get a certain title or pay. That'll help you negotiate for the next one, so it's worth it if that's the case. And if you only see yourself in a situation for another year or so anyway, it's not a big deal. But if you're looking at long-term stuff, that's where I want you to do a little bit more soul searching. Okay? Awesome. Okay, let's move on from wealth to your relationship energy. For relationships, gosh, such a gorgeous card. I said that when I saw it. It says, become the elixir. Let your glow do the heavy lifting. This was what I was talking about when I had the slides up earlier with the solar plexus card with the sun, but we get the same energy with what showed up for you in the spread with the magician. You are the one creating this magic. You are the one, you're the source. You're connected to source and you're the source. The magician in its traditional illustration, as above, so below, shows that I am connected to higher self and I'm bringing it into this timeline, into this lifeline, and I'm grounding it into reality. So yes, when in relationships, if you're looking for love, be the love that you seek. So if you're looking for a partner that is stable, that is happy, that is self-sufficient, that doesn't need or cling on to things or whatever, embody all of that stuff. Just focus on being what you seek. And when you do that, then you find a partner of like energy. Like attracts like. In partnerships, we'll look at it a little different, but across your life, even if we just take it out of relationships, we're looking at the magnetic piece here is that when you glow, others know that too. When you glow, they know. They see that sort of truth and that authenticity, and that is really going to be more powerful than you could imagine, okay? Let's now break this down into what's useful for everybody, looking at current relationships, looking at those that are seeking a relationship, or just generally sort of those that are single and happy, pardon me. All right, if you're in a relationship, Well, I actually quite like these two cards at the heart of things. This is showing that the relationship began from a place of love and appreciation. This shows that there's still mutual attraction. The thing that's off on this is extended family could be getting in the way. Mothers-in-law, sisters-in-law, fathers-in-law, or other sort of extended family could be stepping in and putting their judgment into this place where they don't belong. Remember who you are. Remember, you see each other. This is a perfectly matched couple in tarot. The High Priestess and the Magician, they're equals. They have the capacity to work with magic and energy. This group may not get it, but you get it, you know it, you see it. And so the key thing here is what others don't see, you do. Don't let their drama become yours. That's the best advice I can give to current relationships. Other things that you want to focus on. It seems like every time I look at it, for the past couple months, money and resources have been coming through as pressure points. It's probably just true in relationships in general. That's always going to be something, but I've been seeing it coming up in the cards. Together, you can move mountains. This Magician touches the Three of Wands. This High Priestess touches the Two of Wands. Wow. All I can keep saying with this is a divine partnership, and this is what you can do together. Don't let this nonsense from others get in the way. If you're ready to move on from some past relationship or a present one that's not working, you're calling in this higher frequency. So that's also an okay. So if you've already stepped out of something, don't worry, you didn't make a mistake. You're already in the creation phase, and you're going to call that in. You just have to do a little bit of healing and walking away. So really looking good for present relationships. I've already started to ease into those that are seeking it. So for those that are seeking it, there's a little bit of internal healing. Don't worry about all the flaws. When you're on a date, when you're talking to someone, when you're putting things up on social media, the truth of the matter is there's always going to be someone that says something. But by and large, you are the most critical version of yourself, and you're going to see yourself with kind of like, I wish I was more this, more that. Don't put that out there. Someone else may look at you and see this, the perfection, the divinity, the truth for them. Don't project this nonsense out there. That's not attractive, and that's not true either. We can even see here, it's just a lens. Get ready for a surprise. For those of you that are looking for love, this does not have to happen on a swiping app like Tinder or any of the many ones that are out there, Hinge and Bumble and et cetera, et cetera. This could just be a happy sort of like bump in. You could be at a social gathering, a work gathering, or going to the grocery store, walking the dog. Unexpected. These can be unseen, even for seers. There are things that come through that surprise us, right? And so this is something where the universe was like, I have a surprise for you. And you may know that it's coming, but you're not going to know when, and you're not going to know how. So you might see a piece of this, but be open to be surprised, because I like what I see. Definitely love is in the air for you this month. I don't say that. You know me. You followed me. For those of you that have watched this channel, for 7 or 8 years, you know that love is not the central focus, but if it comes through, I highlight it. So for those of you that are seeking it, become the elixir. There's a high partnership coming through. It's probably going to be on the heels of an uncomfortable situation, pain, loss, frustration, something acrimonious, but all of a sudden, pow, we actually have a really fiery energy coming through with the King of Wands. Could be a Leo, could be another fire sign, but there's something really that I love about this. And there's also a boldness to this energy. The only thing that I see, and this depends on what you're looking for, this person's a boss. The King of Wands would generally be a boss, but in reverse, they're very comfortable, confident, and they know what they want. Your challenge may be being heard and seen because they sometimes may not check in. So that's the only thing that I see for the type of person that you're pulling in. Keep working on, this is kind of now helping us get into those that are single and happy. But whether you're single and looking or single and happy, career energy, financial energy is opening up for you. Whatever you put out into the world, you're going to start to receive, okay? So I really, really love that for you as well. Let me see if there's anything else that we want to focus on here. No, I think that's pretty much it. It's a really good month, but I'm not going to sort of gloss over these three. A little bit of healing, which we talked about in the channel messages, and you have to look beyond what's obvious in yourself and in others. So you might also meet a diamond in the rough where they're working on themselves, so they're working through something. Okay, so we've covered love in all levels. Now we're looking at this lovely Shakti energy coming through, and this is in your destiny position. This is what you're creating. If we look at it, actually it's kind of cool that the card came through reverse, because to me that almost looks like a little city that's being created here. Upright, let me see, we can see sort of that divine feminine energy on the side, breathing life into something. It almost reminds me of, I don't work with dragons as much. I once worked with a healer that kind of almost exclusively worked with dragon energy, but this reminds me of that dragon energy. A lot of heat, a lot of light, a lot of movement. So one of the things that you can focus on is, where can I create a spark in my life? Shakti would definitely be connected with that. We also, these are numbered cards. I don't really read the numbers on all of them, but I would say towards the second to last week of the month, a lot of this magic might be happening for you as well, okay? So let's go ahead now and take a look at the big idea for this month. What's going on? What should you be focusing on? Where is your power? All right? So we already got a little bit of a guide with time and timelines. Let's see if there's anything else that we should be focusing on. Ooh, I like this. We have the Three of Pentacles coming through for you. So this is a card of recognition and rewards for a job well done. So for those of you that have decided to take that leap and go to college, or to work on something, or to reach as high as you possibly could reach, the Three of Pentacles indicates a period where that recognition begins to happen. And when we kind of glance at the cards here, sooner than later with the Three of Wands, and looking in different spaces, you might see something in a direction that you didn't anticipate it being there, but start to look around. It's closer than you think. Also deciding to do something that matters. We look at this person sort of, creating something from yarn. And whenever someone can do something beautiful from something so small, that tells me that ability to weave is sort of like tantamount to success for you. So start that. Like, imagine that everything you're doing, you're going to share, it's going to be a part of something bigger. Put your heart and soul into something. And that's what people are going to be attracted to, is that sort of sense of, I really know who I am and what I want to accomplish. So this is great energy. If you are a writer, this portends good things. If you are a scientist or trying to get something published, it portends good things. Publication, writing, knowledge, and recognition are all a piece of this. So show up, keep working hard. That hard work not only will be rewarded, but already is, because we saw the Three of Wands. Okay, let's move on to blessings and blocks, things that are going to help lift you up, things that could present an additional challenge beyond the Swords cards that we already saw. Blessing, block. Wow, 2 8s. Gosh, really good energy coming through for your reading today. All right, so the blessing this month. These are sibling cards as well. So this is actually like graduation, and this is apprenticeship. This is publication. This is editing. So basically, this, you know what you want to do. You have just one more little step here. So the blessing here is to really pay attention to the details. Everything that I was just saying. Make sure things are word and letter perfect. Make sure that you're ready for someone to come in to see what it is that you're doing. And again, such a good time for learning. These cards are good for teaching and learning. There's an exchange here. So if you're writing a curriculum or a proposal of some sort, this is basically saying, yes, I want to buy into that. Yes, I'm ready for that. Okay? So put it into writing, map it out, plan it out on paper. Let's see what else you could do with this. I would also say that for some of you, just channeling, letting things come out, talking. I don't know if you've ever realized this, but sometimes just being able to talk to a friend helps you make up your mind or sort things out. Back when my mom was still alive, one of the things that I would do sometimes is just say, hey, I just need to talk this out. She would listen, and I would figure it out in the way, and then she'd sometimes lend her advice. But you can do that talking to yourself. I talk to Apollo sometimes. You can talk to your friends and just sort of like say, what do you think about this? This is what I think. See how it sounds when it exits your mouth. Sometimes we don't know until we channel it. So put it onto paper, get it out, record it. I do think recording would be key. So practice makes perfect, and that's really what Eight of Pentacles is saying. So keep up the practice. All right, now for the block. Eight of Wands in reverse. Feeling lost in the shuffle, feeling like you're one step behind, feeling like things won't, when is the other shoe going to drop? Because ultimately, Eight of Wands is success, and it's a very predictable, maintainable energy. It's the wheels in motion, basically. The wheel of fortune spinning in the right direction. So what happens is the inner saboteur comes out and says, you know, this may not last forever, you know, one day this is gonna all fall apart, and we want to let go of the inner saboteur. And it may also be like, well, I've worked on all of this stuff, but is anyone noticing? Does anyone care? And you feel a little lost in the shuffle. So slow down for a moment, talk to some people around you, ground yourself, because this card, every wand represents a person holding one of those wands. So you have this ability to tap into the resources around you. People in your life, because of the lovely nature that you have, are used to taking or receiving, not giving. And so you have to ask for what it is that you want. You'll get it, but you just have to ask. I think that's one of the challenges for some of you. Okay, let's go on to the viewers and readers' choice. We're going to look at some options and opportunities for us to grow. I'll let you vote on a few, and then I'll also select one. So let me get everything set up here, and we'll get a poll ready, the first for today. Okay, let's get maybe some advice. I think I want to cover this one. I'll cover timelines. Let's look at these three cards, so all the swords ones. So I think the way that I would summarize this is dealing with ambiguity. And that's a fancy word for the unknown. So I'll put both in there. Okay, so dealing with the unknown. Let's look for letting go of the past or healing, releasing the past, since the Ten of Swords was coming through. Also potentially avoiding an argument or trap. And let's try to get one more option here just because I feel like it. Oh, I like this one. Finding where to, like creating a spark, how to create the spark, how to create the spark. Okay, so those are some for you to vote on. While you're voting, I'm going to take a look at this lovely card all around timing and timelines. What can you do to bend or shift or manipulate the timeline in a way that's beneficial for you? Judgment, another card that we talked about. Okay, so Judgment is super powerful because she's reversed, but let's just look at this card upright. Again, most of the cards that I was connecting with in my channel messages came through, which is why I knew this was the deck. I like this card because she basically is able to see something that others aren't. So what's happening here is other people are looking at your proposal, your idea, your truth, and they're saying, I don't think so. But there's a part of you that's like, not only do I think so, I know so, and I have to explore it. Even if I'm wrong, I have to give this timeline, this version of myself a chance. Judgment reverse also says that the only thing that might be causing a delay is a lack of commitment and belief. Do you believe it's possible? Justice reverse would normally say a no. Judgment reverse says, I believe it, but ... There's just this little shadow, little tiny piece left. I believe it, but I'm still afraid of this, which tells me you don't really fully believe it. This is just saying, I have to do this. There'll come a point in your life where you realize these other things, I'll just deal with it when the time comes. This has to happen so this door can open. So a fun fact on where I'm at right now, I knew that I needed to get out of my other place, and I gave advance notice without having everything completely lined up because I knew I just needed to get out. And then I manifested quickly because that was a case where I just had to move on. I couldn't exist one more day, one more minute, one more second with constant construction and really shameful management. And I thought, I have to get out of here. And so I decided, and then the door swung wide open. I saw all of these properties that I didn't I'd been looking for months. No exaggeration. The moment I decided, I have to move. I'm moving. I am moving. Not I have to move or I want to move. I'm moving. Then I found it within a day. And so trust me when I'm saying this from personal recent experience with manifesting. Judgment is just saying, it's happening, I'm part of this, and this next thing, I'll find a way. I'll make this work, okay? When I was there was one other instance in my life that I was, actually two. I've experienced these moments or strokes of boldness before. When I was just coming out of college, and I was on the East Coast, and it was a very cold winter. I just had this epiphany. I'm like, it's not here. I need to go to California. I don't know why. I went to the wrong part. I went to Northern initially, which wasn't right for my job market. I love Northern California, but not for the job market. So I had to come to Southern California. You don't always get everything, and I was much younger, and I didn't have cards or a fully developed intuitive sense then. I just knew a general geolocation. I'm like, it's California. And so I just moved. I moved and I had money saved up and I had a freelance gig set up, but I didn't have long-term plans, but it all came together. And the same thing happened when I decided to come to Southern California. I had a short-term gig. I'm like, I'll make this work. So a couple of times I've had to just sort of move without everything guaranteed, but I feel like it's right and I follow through on that. So if you feel like it and you believe in it, or you're just reaching a point where it's like, I must move forward, then things will come together. So we can't always have it all laid out. Sometimes it is going to be a little messy, but you're strong enough and you're perceptive enough to navigate the sort of choppy waters, right? Because not everything looks beautiful. Like, we see some waves in the distance here, and she's a surfer, so she's going to ride through the waves. This isn't all about everything looking amazing. It's about saying, okay, but I know I'm going to surf through that wave of change, okay? Let's look at what you chose from me. All right, we have, we'll give it a second. I like to wait and make sure that I always have the true winner here. So let's see what's here. All right, we have very close actually between the top two. So I'm going to give you, whenever it's like 2 to 4, I'll give this to you. So we're going to dealing with ambiguity and the unknown first, and then how to create the spark second. I'll actually read both. All right, so starting with dealing with ambiguity. Good question. Let's take a look at the cards and see what the advice is with respect to this. Ambiguity or unknown? Interesting. One thing that you can do to help with ambiguity is to be clearer yourself. Oops, sorry, wrong one. So the Seven of Cups is a card of dreaming and consideration. However, there does come a point where the universe wants you to know what you want. So Seven of Cups is good for brainstorming. It's good for research and absorbing things, listening to new people, getting inspired, watching or listening to something. But the thing is, we rarely land on a decision with the Seven of Cups. It's an exploration and a sort of discovery phase. What's necessary next for many of you, this is answering it in a way that was unexpected. It's saying people will get clearer when you're clearer. So take a moment and decide, what do I want? So if I read for someone and they just want a job, but they don't know what they want for a job, I'm like, let's focus first on, you'll get a job, but we need to focus on what you want to do and why you left your last job first, so we can see what your trajectory has been and could be. And so I think your homework assignment is to sort of figure out, how did I get here, first of all, and where do I really want to go? I don't want to just find the next thing. I want to find the thing. I want to find the match, the best thing. And so when you know what that is, when you know what you're looking for, the universe can help you. So discernment, pickiness, decisiveness, that's actually going to help you attract less messy people and situations. Now in the current, let's say you're already in the mess, and we've all been there, myself included. This is just saying, all right, again, what do I want? And what's the best in front of me? Seven of Cups can be dizzying when seeking a partner, seeking a house, seeking a job. They're all different sort of explorations. If you do too much sort of exploration, you're dizzying yourself. So it's good to have filters. Adjusting the filters is going to be where your power is. I found this one when I took this place, when I started to just focus on location, and then one or two key things, I'm like, if it has this, it's going to have the other things. And then that was it. I found filter magnets. Let's think of it that way. Think of the most important attributes, the tent poles to your sort of tent that are holding it up, or like the Four of Wands, the 4 wands that would hold that tent up. That's what you want to focus on. Those core tenets will bring what you're seeking, and that will help you. You don't have to have everything figured out, just the core things that you want, and that's going to clear up things around you. All right, that's my answer for that. Let's look at the second one, which was how to create the spark. And this is really important because when we're looking at the cards, you have Shot Key here, which has that fire-like dragon energy, and then we have the King of Wands. He's literally holding a torch, and he's fire. So let's look at where you can get inspired, be inspiring. We'll conjugate it in all the different ways and see what's going on, because that's going to help you with what we just talked about, the bending the timelines a bit. Okay, so let me focus again on creating a spark. All right, and switching the camera so I can see it. All right, so we have the Four of Cups in reverse. It's saying it's something that either you wouldn't normally consider for yourself, that fourth cup floating out there in the environment. It's something that someone offered for you. There's something going on, this spark, this idea where you're like, oh, is that me? Could I do that? Yes. The other thing here is, it's not a traditional read, but I'm looking very much at how they illustrated this person. I feel like the sense of malaise, boredom, or being phoned out, it has been in effect for some of you, not all, but for some of you, you've been in that phoning it in phase where it's just like, whatever, this is good enough, the good enough phase. And what you have to do is remind yourself that there's, like that Sarah McLachlan song, there's something better than this good enough moment. There's something that is going to awaken a desire within you that you didn't expect. So, taking a walk, exploring, seeing what others are doing, exposing yourself to different things will awaken the spark. Try new things, taste new things, read or experience new things. And then compare that then to where you're at right now and think, am I happy? Because you can be with the Four of Cups, but typically there's a little something missing. The universe is trying, it's knocking on the door, it's giving you this, and it's saying, I know you don't see this for yourself, but it's possible. So see beyond the limits, a common theme that we've been talking about, okay? Let's now move on to a fairly new portion of this. We're going to expand this to look at sun, rising, and moon. You can always look at this for any aspect of your chart. You can cross-watch for others. But let's go ahead and focus specifically on these three. I have to pause for a second, and Apollo is now paws up, totally relaxed and zen. I'm so happy. He used to be digging in that all the time, and look at how chill that little guy is. All right. There's a little air conditioning vent that's blowing air on him too, so I think he's just enjoying. All right, little sidebar there. Back to sun, rising, and moon. Let's shuffle the cards, take a look at what's coming through, and open up to the possibilities here. Sun looking fantastic with the world. Rising looking really aware with the Nine of Swords reverse, and moon, Five of Wands. All right, so let's break this down, folks. First things first, sun. So Aries sun, if you're born under the sign, this message is for you. Great month ahead for Aries sun. We have the world, end of something, beginning of something new, expansion in general. I think these are platonic solids on the side. Don't correct me if I'm wrong. But what I'm seeing with this is it's almost like you've taken all of the little elements and aspects and pieces of the puzzle that you would have gained at the very beginning of the journey here with the Magician, and now it's all coming together. So you're getting the big picture for sure. The other thing with the world is it's that last step that sometimes is the hardest. For me, I was emphatic when I was walking out the door and into the new one. So sometimes the world can be that way. Sometimes the world, though, can be saying goodbye to someone that you love. Maybe you're moving, maybe they've transitioned and they're in spirit. There's so many things that could be going on, but sometimes that door, is shut, and when you shut it, you're not going back through it. So I think that for you this month, it's really embracing not what won't be, but what wants to be, what will be, what's available to you. You're walking through a portal, and it's a really powerful month. Expansion and exploring, and also distribution for those of you that have products, services, or businesses. Publication, distribution. It's a really powerful card. Nothing negative about the world. It's one of the best cards in Major Arcana. It's what you've been working up for. It's the journey of the Fool realized. So this is your moment. Shine. It's appropriate that it would come through for Sun. It's a good month. I did a reading on the weekend, and the last couple things I did an impromptu, but this sign also aligns to moving on, moving up, moving out. In any one of those orders, it's just about expansion, okay? So a great month ahead for you. But change and movement are pieces of that. So as long as you're willing to step through that change, then you'll be rewarded. Rising and ascendant. A lot of times the rising and ascendant will present itself in the external projection, as if we were a TV or movie camera projecting out into the world. It's how we're being perceived. It may not be how we feel or how we are, but we're going to check in on your projection and then also on the opportunities that are presenting themselves because of the projection. So we don't need to worry about Nine of Swords when it's reversed. What it says is, I am fearless, I am bold, I am ready. I am that one bird in the corner that is free and flying in that sort of like light. I found my way through to the other side. So it's just about letting go of the stress, of the trauma, of the drama of the past. And people are looking for that kind of energy, particularly if you're living or working in a situation where there is a lot of stress. They're looking for the light in the dark. And so you will shine and find your best version of yourself and the best opportunities for yourself when you just embody that light. So try when you can to be the light in the dark. Nine of Swords, if it were upright, would say, I need to take better care of myself. I need to sleep a little bit more. I need to not worry so much about what may be or what others may think. I'm going to let that go. And we see here with the pillow here, I'm just going to get a good night's rest. I'm going to put that to bed. I'm going to ground that energy. Tomorrow's a new day. Okay, and we basically got all three of the upper swords cards here. 8 of Swords, 9 of Swords, 10 of Swords. It's done. It's over, folks. So whatever was kind of vexing you in the past, it's done. And the moment you understand that it is done, the moment you can move on and get into the court cards, get into the Page of Swords, which is a lot more powerful than any of the minor arcana. Ace is good. We like the Ace of Swords. But most of us that read cards, you look at swords, you're like, all right, what are we dealing with? 4 of Swords is good. I would say Ace, 4, and then all of the court cards are great. The other ones require work and knowledge and things to kind of deal with. But, you've got a positive placement for this 9 of Swords. It's reversed and it's saying, I'm awake, I'm aware, I'm smarter, I'm wiser now, and I'm not going to worry about all of this stuff, okay? That's your power this month, plus getting some sleep, all right? Super important. All right, let's move now from rising to your moon. So the moon, sometimes it's things we're still discovering about ourselves and exploring. It may be secrets that we keep. It may be secret talents. But let's just look at that sort of depth and well of the unknown. We have the 5 of Wands coming through. So it's going to be a busy month. The importance for you is teamwork and collaboration versus competition. So in this card, if everybody works together, it gets done faster. This card can also indicate in its traditional sense this feeling like I'm in a hamster wheel or I'm on a treadmill, to use a more modern and less sort of, I don't like the hamster wheel sort of metaphor in the head, but just like you're on a treadmill, you're working hard, but you're not necessarily getting anywhere. So make sure that the work that's being done is well invested, that it's not just sort of like work for the sake of work. Make sure that you have the spark, which we talked about, and that there is this constant feel that, like, yeah, this is absolutely bringing me closer to what I need to do. It's hard work, but it doesn't feel like hard work because I can see why I'm doing what I'm doing. And it connects with the powerful Magician and High Priestess and 3 and 2 of Wands that already came through. So I see it as being a productive month for all the moon sign Aries out there, and you're going to make a great sort of energetic flow out of that. Okay? So we're getting ready for the last but most important piece, which will be meditation, and then the final card. Just making a quick check here. Yeah, we worked through all of these elements. If you just joined, stick around. You can always watch this afterwards on replay. Before I get into the meditation, write down whatever question you have for me so that you don't forget it. And while you're doing that, a reminder again to like and subscribe, and please opt into notifications. I have new times this month. It's going to be 9 a.m. Pacific. I may throw impromptus at any time of the day because I have a quiet space now, so I can do some in the evening or some in the afternoon. So from time to time, I'll shift it so that I can help my folks that are in like New Zealand, Australia, China, Japan, different parts of the world where I know that the time may not align. So from time to time, I'll do evening ones for those folks. So yeah, subscribe. Join me on social as well. It's always my name except for Twitter, but everywhere else it's Nicholas Ashbaugh. I will never send you a direct message or offer products or services. So avoid anyone, report them, and let me know if you see that as well. And if you want to show some love and support, now is a great time to do it. You can use the built-in sort of super sticker, super chat feature, and I'll say a thank you at the very end. I'm also very close to a milestone. It's too far away. I think I'm around 1,200 subscribers away from hitting a quarter milestone. And so once we do that, I'll do a Q&A, and then members can ask me some questions. So just a little something on its way. All right, let's get ready for the meditation. Let's take a look at the cards actually as we're doing this, and let's see what we can do. I want to look at, I'm getting the vision of sort of like a flower or a lotus. Yeah, lotus would be great, and we can focus on the crown chakra. So we're going to do a crown chakra meditation, focusing on opening up the crown to receiving. Because these cards are about blockages or closures, we're going to open it up, get into the third eye and magician energy, get into the Shakti energy, and allow for that power and that strength and that spark to come through. All right, so close your eyes. I'll be using my singing bowl today, so we're not going to do a poll on that. Just close your eyes, relax. Put that question to the side that you have for me. And let's just take a moment to be present. One thing that sometimes we try to do is focus so much on trying to control our thoughts, trying to control our emotions, that it doesn't allow us to just be. So in this moment in time, I'd like to encourage you to just be present without any sort of script, without any sort of desire. Listen to your heart, listen to the sound of your breathing. Focus in on what your body is feeling and telling you, and just be okay with whatever that is, wherever you're at today. Don't judge, no judgments. What you are is exactly what you need to be, and where you decide to go next is completely up to you. There is freedom and there is power, and you have that freedom and power. Take a deep breath. Put one of your shoulders up high and release it. Do the same on the other side. Take your neck and just gently move it from side to side as well, loosening things up a little bit. For those of you that clench your jaw, release the jaw and the soft palate. Let everything relax a little bit. Let your eyes relax, close them, let them kind of sink into their sockets, allowing every single muscle in your body just to let go. And as you breathe, I want you to imagine that you are contained within the energy of a beautiful crystalline lotus. Beautiful, bright, energetic, golden white light is all around you. And imagine that slowly each one of those petals is starting to open. And just as I'm stretching my arms and demonstrating that, you could do the same, or you could just feel that the energy around you is starting to stretch and to open. And this is happening specifically around the crown of your head. Almost as if all of these blossoms are coming out, all of these rays of light are coming out from that central crown chakra. And once the flower is completely open around you, a beam of light and energy comes through. And it's almost as if you are this, you're right in the line of this light. So it's coming from up above, through the crown, through the body, down below, and it's a beam in both directions. But the crown is the point from which these two beams are centered. Imagine now that you can see all that was, all that is, and all that can be. And in this moment in time, you are no longer beholden to things like fear, anxiety, doubt, or lack of worth. You see what you are, you see what you can be, and you choose now a path that works for you. All you need to do is be present during this meditation. You don't have to imagine anything. You don't have to judge what you're feeling or seeing. This is an exercise in presence and breathing. The only thing that I would encourage you to sort of envision is opening and light, seeing the light come through the crown. And then if you're open to receiving advice and information from your higher self, then allow for that to come through, and you can share that later. While you're doing that, I'm going to play the singing bowl. You can just relax and enjoy, and I'll be back in a moment to read your final question. Allow yourself now to come back into your body, taking a few gentle breaths. Bringing your hands to your heart center rather, and gently move them together, creating the spark that we talked about earlier, placing that energy in your heart space and understanding that you are a part of this creative process. You are the source. You do not need to seek that source elsewhere. You do not need permission to be who you are. You're exactly where you need to be and who you need to be right here, right now. Gently open your eyes and let's focus on the final question that you have for me. Let me put the singing bowl to the side and I'll be right back. All right. Now focus on that final question, and I'm going to take a look energetically and see what the cards have to say. One of the best Seven of Wands cards, bar none. So we have here someone who is capable of exuding grace under fire, is amazing at multitasking, and who does not walk into the traps that we talked about with the Ten of Swords. She can basically say, I hear what you're saying, I'll consider that, and isn't going to get worked up. When she does decide to get worked up, however, a force to be reckoned with, because the traditional stance in the Seven of Wands is one where you can hold your own. You have the strength of an army, basically, and you can surprise people because they may take you for granted or underestimate your capacity. A quiet person isn't always someone to be ignored. This person has the capacity, like I said, to basically make anything happen. So we have the alter ego to this Seven of Wands, which is, I'll wait. My timing is what's going to matter. I have the capacity to be this bold, but I'm going to wait, and I'm going to show, and I'm going to use that flame and that fire when it makes sense, when it's right. If you asked me a yes-no question, this is a yes. It's a yes. There's some work to do. You can do it. It requires effort, but it's a yes. This definitely is saying you can put your mind to anything and do it, so you get a check from me. It means that you're going to have to exude boss energy. So even though this is not like a king or a queen of wands or a chariot card or anything of that nature, it means that even without titles, sometimes we have to just take a leadership role. So the Seven of Wands is like, no, this, not that. I said, so there'll be some repeating of messages to get something done. And the last thing that I would say, and it's always a piece of this, is work effectively, work more intelligently, not necessarily harder. So work smart, not hard. Find a way to get the work done in a timeline that makes sense for you. We talked about with Kairos there's basically this divine timing or bending of time around your will rather than the other way around. Okay? This is like the best Seven of Wands card, I think, in any deck, but it is important to remember the original version of it because that's what makes this one so powerful. She's choosing not to go on the defensive. Don't let someone trigger you, and try to avoid being defensive. Be inquisitive and be a good listener instead. One of my friends that I follow on Twitter was posting an interview this morning, and when I had a couple minutes to spare before I got started, and I looked at that and I was like, what I liked about him as an interviewer was he waited. Let the person talk a lot. Finish what they were saying rather than cutting in. So let someone get through everything, and then you can drop the mic when the time is right. It's not about how much you're talking, how loud you're talking, or how much you interrupt the other person. It's about how powerful your feedback is or your words are when you actually say something. So make that really impactful and think of like a mic drop moment where it's like, oh, they can't really come back from that. You didn't have to shout, didn't have to yell, didn't have to interrupt. You were polite, you listened, and you showed that you listened, and now they need to deal with your perspective. And that's how I would show that elevated Seven of Wands. Okay? That, my friends, is everything for today. Really nice. I'm so happy I got to kick things off with you today. I did the impromptu yesterday just to test the equipment. For the most part, everything's set up here. But yeah, it was nice to have you here for the first sort of inaugural reading. So thank you so much for being a part of this. All right, everyone, we're going to now wrap up. So again, one last moment to subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on social. And I want to say thanks now for all of you that have given back a little bit. So let's do that. By the way, I normally would have done this reading on Monday, which is why I'm doing it Wednesday instead, just to catch up. But tomorrow and Friday, I have the next two readings, which will be Taurus and Gemini. So you can set the reminders for those. And then the rest of the schedule will come. I literally have like rooms of boxes that I need to attend to. So I'm juggling between the two. So thank you for your patience. Okay, so let me take a look real quick at anybody that joined as a new member within the past day or so, and then also the super stickers from today. Okay, so let me see who's here. Janelle, it looks like, if I said that incorrectly, apologies. Brand new member, just joined. Thank you so much. And I think that's it for today. Everyone else joined yesterday, so good to have all of you here. All right, let's go ahead and do a quick check at anybody that provided a little bit of support with a super sticker. Kicking things off today, we have Caitlin Kenny. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Kakli as well. Thank you. Aphrodite Goddess 369. I appreciate your contribution. Florin, thank you. Stella Morris. Thank you very much, Stella. Glad you liked the digs. Jody Aquino. Thank you. Lauren Bush. Sarah George. Jules in July. Cindy Toshik, and I think that's everyone. So thank you so much for all the love and support. Thank you as well for being patient as I moved into the new space. Again, this was, for me, also an exercise in patience and manifestation and healing. But I'm happy for Apollo and I'm happy for me, and sometimes we just have to push through some difficult times in our lives, right? So I go through it just like you, so thank you so much. It's been nice to have this community and you guys supporting me as I go through it. I should get back into daily postings with the shorts, I would say within the next day or two. I need to get caught up first on getting these started and getting everything organized. So I'm giving myself time. The old me would just be pushing through all of that while I was moving. I'm like, no, we gotta get settled. So probably Thursday will be my first short if everything goes well. I just need a little bit of time today to get stuff organized. All right, everyone, lots of love and light to you. Take care of yourselves. I will see you tomorrow and Friday and on Sunday. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Stella, for that really, really lovely contribution. And welcome to Sharon. Thank you very much. More to come from this space, and even as I was playing the singing bowl, I could hear the acoustics much better, so hopefully you enjoyed that. It resonated through this whole space, which was nice. All right, everyone, I will see you soon. Take care and have a blessed day. Nice beginning to the new month, and again, a great month ahead. All right, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.